Okay, with this question here, this is a classic physics problem. It states that the projectile is shot vertically up into the air with an initial velocity of 182 feet per second from an initial height of 129 feet off the ground, and the height of the projectile, h in feet, t seconds after its shot, is given by this equation, this thing right here. So it says, find the 2 points in time where the object is 159 feet above the ground. Round your answer to the nearest hundredth of a second. So we want to figure out when, or what t is, when this equation equals 159. Okay, so we're going to start by setting that equal to 159. So I have 159 equals negative 16 t squared plus 182 t plus 129. Now I can't solve this if I have a t squared and a t. I can't solve it unless I put everything on the same side and either factor it or use the quadratic formula. So I'm going to start by moving this 159 to the other side. So I get 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 182t. And that's going to give me negative 30. 129 minus 159 is negative 30. You can try and factor that. I don't know if it factors, it probably doesn't. So I'm just going to dive right into the quadratic formula. So this is going to be my A, negative 16. My B is going to be 182. And my C is going to be negative 30. So if I have this thing equal to 0, I know that T has to equal negative B, negative 182, plus or minus the square root of B squared, 182 squared, minus 4 times A times C, all over 2 times A. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by simplifying this inner part here. This under the square root. This is called the discriminant. I'm going to start by figuring out what that is first. I always start there with the quadratic formula. So I'm going to do 182 squared. And then I'm going to do, so I'm just going to watch the negative signs here. This is a negative times a negative times a negative. So 3 negatives is going to make a negative number. So I'm just going to do 4 times 16 times 30. And know that the answer is going to be negative. This whole thing, since it's 3 negatives, it's going to result in a negative number. So now I'll just do this minus 1,920. So I get negative 182 plus or minus the square root, whoops, don't mind that, of 31,204. Over negative 32. So now I'm just going to do the square root of that. That gives me that. I'm going to do negative 182 plus that answer divided by negative 32. There's my first answer. Positive 1 point, what did they say? Around 2 decimal places. Positive 1.7, 0.17, sorry. And then I'm going to take the same thing, but I'm going to subtract instead of that. And then divide by negative 32 again. I get positive 11.21. And although it's ugly, a lot of the answers in this chapter will be ugly. Those are your 2 answers.